Welcome to Boys episode 189. I'm Robbie.
I'm Josh. I don't have a song again.
189. I know there was that thing like you're doing fine in 89. It was like a don't lay that trash on Oklahoma. Way topical, way local, whatever. We're here with a very special episode. And for once, I mean it. No, it's a great episode.
We have a legendary guest.
I really think we do. I'm going to stand behind that, man. And we're going to get right to the episode. But first, a few announcements. BoysPodcast.com. It's a hub of all things boys. There you will find links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as that golden donate button. Smash it, bash it, thrash it, harass it. Send us a few bucks if you like the show week after week.
Squeeze it.
Ooh.
I had a nice little
That was either,
S on there.
It was either an old man or a cartoon badger. It was one of the two.
Or a prospector.
Yes.
Oh, Boys is available on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify. On Spotify, search us all one word, all lowercase, Boys Podcast. Guess what? When you do that, every single episode's going to be there.
They're all there for your pleasure.
1 to 189 and more. Leave a review on iTunes, wherever you can leave reviews. Subscribe everywhere you can subscribe. It lets you find out when we have new shit.
That's right. And, you know, if you don't want to subscribe to all, subscribe to one.
Yeah.
Or all. One or all. Whatever you want to do. It's your...
All for one.
What movie was that from?
Three Musketeers.
Was it?
You're probably confusing it with Everything I Do It For You by Ryan Adams.
From Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
But see, All for One, One for
Did
All.
you say
was
Ryan Adams?
Brian Adams.
Okay, Brian Adams.
Ooh. But All for One, One for All had Brian Adams, Sting,
Oh, that's right.
Rod Stewart.
Dude, that was a badass song.
Holy Trinity.
I'm going to have to listen to it. Email us, boys@boyspodcast.com. Send us some feedback. Put your physical address in the bottom of the email. We'll send you out a little care package, some free stickers, maybe a button.
Heck, maybe a couple of buttons.
Yeah, we need to get rid of these. It's time for some new shit.
We need some
What do you think? New shit?
New shit. Time for. When's that metal shirt coming, Robbie?
I gotta finish. I gotta do it. There's so many things I need to do,
Hey.
Josh.
My favorite comedian has a saying. Get her done.
Ah, damn.
Thank you for this. Our sponsors, Anthem. I just opened my Anthem before this, but I want to do a little. It was delayed.
Not bad. Not bad.
I'll fix it in editing.
All
Fix it
right.
in post. Anthem Brewing, Taproom 908 Southwest 4th Street. Plenty of delicious beers on tap. They got them in all ranges of sizes. You can get a flight. Check them out. Go to anthembrewing.com for all your news and updates from Anthem Brewing. While you're on the interwebs, slide on over. Is that what they do? Open up another window. Open up another browser.
Tab over.
fatbison.com. Check out the fine products he's already created and can create for you a custom piece.
Mm-hmm. There's a gallery you can check out. You can do custom orders for wooden signs, furniture, knickknacks, trinkets, doodad,
Patty wax.
tchotchkes.
Give a dog a bone.
I'm actually having old Matt Bison over at Fat Bison make me a coffee table pretty soon.
About how big a coffee table are you going to get, Rob?
About the size of a coffee table. Probably 3 feet long by about 2 feet wide.
Okay,
it's
you're
going to
gonna
be
go like,
short.
Okay, you're going to go rectangular,
Yeah,
not
right.
circle.
No, rectangular. It's going to be bi-leveled because I like to have a little stowaway storage underneath.
Well, you're a gaming boy. You like to put your controllers.
That if you put the controllers under there, it keeps them off the top of the table where I can put my miniatures, my D&D manuals.
See, it's funny. It's so funny. But 10 years ago, it would have been where I can put my weed.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Put it right there in that under level.
But now that the medicine is legal, you just leave it out.
Just
You just throw
everywhere.
it when you're done with
Leave
it.
it on the couch. Leave it on the table. Wherever. Champion Vintage. Champion_vintage_OKC on Instagram.
Check them out. In
Pinch
stereo.
poke, you owe me a Coke.
Thank you for the donations, the feedback, and most importantly, the telling of a friend. Listen, we want this podcast to grow more and more as it goes on. You know, we're closing in on our 200th episode.
Dude, that's insane.
That's a lot of hours of me farting out of my mouth into a microphone.
Exactly. I'm looking right here at our 100th episode poster we have framed in our studio. Looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to believe. We're about to cap off another hundo.
100 ago. That's crazy to think about. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn and pat myself on the back, but we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're almost at 200. Help us expand our reach. If you like the show, you listen week after week, whether we're laughing, we're crying, anything in between, tell a friend. Because honestly, without the word of mouth, we are nothing. We don't put money into, targeted Facebook promotional ads.
We're not posers. I'm not going to I'm not going to boost, I'm not going to get fake followers. I'm going to get robots to come in.
Buying Russian bots here, people. Just tell a friend, have them listen to an episode, maybe tell them your favorite episode, or maybe start at number 1. Do you do that when you learn about a new podcast? Let's say like your favorite comedian, legendary Paula Poundstone is on an episode of, BJ and the Kid, okay? And she's episode 187. You want to listen to that one first because you love Paula Poundstone.
I love Paula Poundstone.
You love her fashion. You love her voice. You love
everything
her
about her.
specific brand of comedy.
She's sexy. What can I say?
Hey, you can't deny that. You do have eyes.
I'd pound hers down.
You start with that episode. Do you go back? Let's say you like that. Let's say, okay, you know what? I like this podcast.
Yeah.
Do you go back to number 1 and start, even though there's 188 other episodes to listen to?
I'm going to be totes honest. What I do is I go to their page and I pull out all of their episodes, kind of have them like in a giant scroll. And if I see another comedian or person that I like, I'll get that episode.
You cherry pick.
And once I cherry pick out through those ones that I like, I'll go all the way back through.
Okay. Well, listen, we have almost 200 episodes to choose from. So, maybe you were on the show. Maybe you're a friend of the show that's listening. Maybe you had a friend that was on the show. Maybe you like Mark Normand or Shane Mouse or Matt Pryor.
Or Less Than Jake or MXPX.
Any of those jokers. Cherry pick or start from number 1. I actually went back and listened to our first episode probably about a month ago when I was archiving all the MP3s.
Episode 1 was Zach Smith, correctly?
I believe so. I believe it was Zach Smith.
We should have him on our 200th.
Maybe we should. We'll reach out to him. We'll see. Zach, if you're listening, hit us up. You know the email. But yeah, thank you for the donations, the feedback, the telling of a friend. We appreciate all that. We appreciate you.
Preach.
Keep it up.
You know what you should keep up?
What's that?
You should keep up your calendar. Mark the date.
What date?
Your boys are back in town. February 22nd.
That's a Saturday.
That is a Saturday at the venue we talk about on this actual episode.
Yeah.
89th Street Collective, the former Green Door, but it's currently the 89th Street Collective, ran by Nick Hampson, former guest of the show. Find his episode. Listen to that shit.
You know what? I think they dropped the word collective. I think it's just called 89th Street now. That was news to me. I didn't know that until recently. But yeah, Saturday, February 22nd. What time are those doors, brother?
Doors are at 6:30. Early show. It's an emo pop punk karaoke brought to you by Through Being Cool from Tulsa. They do an emo night, I think monthly or bi-monthly or every 3 months. I can't remember how often they do it.
They do it when they do it.
They do it when they do it. And they're bringing it down to here. And we were put on the bill.
Blink 405, baby. We're opening the show. The doors are at 6:30. I'm not exactly sure when we're playing. I'd say get there around 6:30.
Yeah, I would get there early just in case we do start playing at 7.
We're playing a 20-song set of classic Blink 182 hits, deep cuts, and everything in between. It's going to be a really good time. $5 to get in.
Yeah.
And following Blink 405, which is at blink.405 on Instagram if you want to give us a follow. There is a band. Now, are they the Tom DeLongs or the Dom Talongs?
The Dom Talongs.
Okay. What they are, they're a live band that you can sign up to do karaoke with a live band backing you. How cool would that make you feel?
And they don't let the name fool you. They do all kinds of stuff.
Fall Out Boy.
My Chemical Romance.
Paramore.
Weezer.
Alkaline Trio.
Get Up Kids.
Saves the Day. I'm guessing on that one.
I'm guessing on a lot of it.
I hope they do.
They probably do a lot.
It's a veritable cavalcade.
It's going to be a fun show. It's early enough to where you can get a sitter and get home before it even gets dark.
Or if you don't have kids, you can get there, come to the show, then you can bail later after you get up there and sing a song if you're so inclined, and then go about your Saturday night. If you want to go to a bar, go to a late night movie.
Maybe get a late night dinner.
Something like that. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
We'd love to see y'all there again Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. at 89th Street, Blink 405. Lastly, frankly, we got some merch if you want something. We've got shirts and sweatshirts and hats and buttons and stickers and patches and all kinds of stuff.
You know what? If you don't want us to mail that to you, if you can't wait but you can wait till the 22nd. Come to the show. We'll have boys merch. We'll have Blink merch.
I think that's what we should do. I think that's a really good call. We'll have our little Blink merch. We got some T-shirts. We got some stickers, buttons, things like that.
Yeah.
We'll have a little section over to the right or your
Yeah.
left, depending on what side of the merch stand you're standing on.
Very true.
Pick up some boys merch while you're there.
Yeah.
Be a great time. Meet me and Josh and our wonderful drummer Chris, the man Van Dyne,
I like it.
wearing the biggest shoes in the band. Dare I say?
Yeah, he's got the biggest shoes to fill for sure.
Pulling out all the stops, doing those sweet Travis Barker drum things.
Phil's?
Oh, that's what they're called, fills. Anyways, enough about that.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you there. Thank you for listening. We're going to get right to the show now, episode 189 with Reggy Wheat of Green Door Booking. Okay, we're here, episode 189 with Reggy Wheat.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm freaking great, man.
Good.
Life is good.
Dude, I'm so glad you're here. This is so awesome. And of course, I'm Robbie.
I'm Josh.
And we're just going to jump right into things.
Very cool.
So tell me about what you're doing right now, besides sitting in this room podcasting.
The main thing I'm doing is just booking a lot of shows. I've just got a booking page set up, and the response is overwhelming. I did not expect to get a landslide like this. I was expecting a nice easy ramp up.
Right.
But I had to slow down. I was booking 3 or 4 shows a day. I got my dates jumbled up, so I put it on pause for a couple of days, kind of regroup, realize it is fun and not stress about it,
Yeah.
And it's just like today, I got 3 shows booked just today.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's I don't know how it spread so fast, but I'm getting the artists calling me themselves, saying, "Hey, you're back in it. Great news. Can you help me out?"
Yeah.
Of course I can.
It's got to be a
to hear
good
from you.
feeling, too. Something you did for, how many years did you do booking for at the Green Door?
Well, I think the venue was open for 5 years, and then I did some more booking for about another year.
But after all that time, your name is still as that's the guy.
Yeah.
It's incredibly, I'm humbled beyond belief, Recently, before, what made me think about doing this whole booking thing again was I was going to go see a distiller show down in Dallas, and I didn't have any money, but I was going to be there for training class for this job I lost recently anyway. Anyway, so I hit up the agent, and you haven't worked with this guy for 14 years. I haven't even talked to him at all. And I was like, "Hey, man, been a long time. I'm stuck in Dallas. Any chance you could hook me up with tickets, I didn't hear from him for a month, but I didn't pursue it. Wasn't going to press it, 2 days before the show, he's like, "Of course, you're listed. Good to hear from you."
Awesome.
And I was that made me kind of feel I'm starting to realize the impact I had locally
Yeah, man.
by noticing the impact I had out there as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the agents that I've talked to are "Oh my God, it's so good to hear from you." I get immediate responses. It's I never left. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back in time a little bit. So I know you from, the Green Door, of course. And, the Green Door came, do you remember the year that it opened?
2001.
Okay, perfect. So we're 2 years out of high school.
Wow.
I'm 1 year out of
You're
high
1 year
school.
out of high school.
I was talking to Mikey about that today. I was telling him we're having you on. He's like, "Dude, that's awesome." He's like, "Yeah." It's the prime time. 18, 19 years old, just starting up some bands.
Exactly. Or, I started playing guitar when I was about 14, 15. You go through that first period of about the first 3 years or so where you're figuring out how to play. You're figuring out kind of the trajectory you're
Figuring out
gonna
how to
have.
suck.
Yeah,
by
figuring out
playing.
how to suck,
I mean,
for sure.
You got to suck to get it right.
You start your first punk band in the garage at your dad's house, and then
Playing parties for friends.
exactly bedrooms and backyards and whatnot.
Mine was called Hate Party.
coffee
Hey,
shops.
The band name was?
Hate Party, yeah.
That's a fucking dope band name.
That's a name that I could hear like a SoundCloud rapper using now.
Oh, that, or
You know what
I was
mean?
thinking they'd
There's
be touring.
H8 party. You know?
Yeah.
They'd be touring with Fucked Up.
Yeah.
Fucked Up and Hate Party
That
at the
was
Green
our-
Door.
We were mainly an excuse to sell shirts.
Yeah.
We got booked on a lot of gigs, but by the time it was our turn, we were either too trashed or somebody was missing.
Did you have a cool logo or a cool design for the
Oh
shirt?
man, I was working at a screen shop after hours at the time, and we had this one that was real popular. It had a little cutesy girl, like a line drawing, and behind her was an old school British cop, twitching his baton,
Ah.
And on the back it said "Hate Party," it says "Fuck you,"
Yeah.
So
And working at a screen shop, that has to be perfect when you're in your first band. It's
Oh, yeah.
Merch City, here we come.
we got the shirts for free, man. I would show up at our shows and other people's shows. I drove this old school '74 Dodge Charger, baby blue. I just had a huge trunk, so I just kicked the lid open, throw my shirts right there on the side, have a box of them in there.
You got a badass display.
Yeah.
And all the money went for a beer after the show. You know what I mean?
Hell
It
yeah,
was like,
dude.
I shared it. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? We were just having fun.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so 2001, the Green Door opens. You know, Josh and I both were raised in, well, not born and raised, but raised in Choctaw.
Wow.
So, you know, coming to the city for anything cool, I remember going to the Green Door shortly after it opened and
That's
getting
like a trip.
Dude, it is, but it was a chance to see bands that you would otherwise have never seen in Oklahoma.
Thank you.
And dude, for that, I want to thank you. Like that's fucking amazing. I mean, I saw some incredible shows there of all different genres.
Man, I really appreciate that. I try to keep everything diverse, you know?
One of my favorites was, and this, I think this might have been maybe a little later, but Trail of Dead. You know, saw the Trail of Dead, and it was one of their earlier, more chaotic shows.
Did you bleed?
No, but my friend did,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say.
they were hanging from the rafters, throwing their shit around.
Smashing guitars.
It
and
went
shit.
from it went from being like, okay, we're all hanging out having a beer.
So beautiful and poetic to destruction.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was one of the only shows in my life that I went to that I felt not for the lack of the structure or fire exits, but I felt like I might die or at least be maimed.
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
awesome, man. That's
It was
awesome.
incredible. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's a list as long as my arm of amazing shows I saw there, you know, in the original location, and then quite a few in the new location when you moved downtown.
Yeah.
Like International Noise Conspiracy and the Sounds. That was another like big highlight for me.
Did you hear that the encore, the song she played was called Reggie?
No.
Yeah, she had a song called Reggie. Whenever they're doing their encore, I was backstage going, "You guys are awesome. You got to play more." And they were like, "Your name is Reggie?" You know, the lead singer.
Yeah.
And they'd come in a few times when they played across the street at Coca-Cola just to hang out. I was like, "Yes, my name is Reggie." She was like, "I wrote a song about you." Took off on stage and did it. I was like,
How'd that make you feel?
I was freaking blown away, dude.
that's
It wasn't really about me, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
The
for the
name's
night,
there. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for the night, it was
Yeah.
like
It was-
tonight.
That's awesome.
That's my
It
song.
felt very, very awesome. You know what I mean?
So you said you were in your first band, Hate Party. Awesome name. What made you? We're gonna kind of go back in time. So what made you want to get into booking and eventually open a club?
Well, for one, I sucked as a musician. I'd tried to hit my hand, like in Hate Party, I was a drummer and never on a drum set, you know. I did lead sing for a very short, brief period of time for a band called PDB.
Okay.
The name was supposed to be a secret. It was Pixie Dust Bandits.
Okay.
We never let it out. If anybody has a recording of that, please trash it.
Just delete it.
Yeah, it was
trash
bad.
it.
I was a singer with Dave Klein and Owen.
Oh, Dave Klein.
yeah,
yeah,
so, you know, me and Dave go way back.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
That cynical son of
It
a
was fun,
bitch.
but as a singer, I sucked. You know what I mean? All I could do was like karate kicks and shit.
Yeah.
It was
Showmanship,
So
you
bad.
know?
Yeah, some
so
stage
bad.
presence.
Right. But basically, because I sucked as a musician, I didn't really want to try to be in a band. So I was looking for another way to support the scene, you know? And me and my ex-wife were trying to get windows, but in our first house, the bastard had 31 windows. So we got this huge price, about as much as we spent on the damn thing, to put new windows in, trying to update it, you know? And we were trying to take a personal loan out. Of course, young, credit sucked, so they kept denying us, and we got to this point where we're like, man, if we can get $5,000, let's just open up a damn bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just do something, because we loved going to the 66 Bowl and all other places on the weekend, but kind of felt like we needed like our own hangout. You know what I mean? That wasn't something else during the day kind of deal, you know?
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's what we got qualified for. It was $5,000. So on our way back from the on our way back from the bank, we stopped, just saw this place on Western, had a for rent sign, called the freaking number, had a check for $5,000 in my pocket. Turned out to rent the place was $2,500 down and $2,500 deposit.
Dang.
So I just signed a check over to him. We're like, here we go.
So you got your foot in the door.
Got our
That's
foot in
almost
the
like
door.
serendipitous.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
And when we first opened, we were literally just a bar.
yeah.
And within
Okay.
about a month, me and my father-in-law built a stage over there. And Music D was having some troubles because they were doing construction on Western. So I pretty much took whatever he had so they could actually have room to play in, you know, and people could get to it. And I kind of felt like, even though I loved what everybody was doing and the scene was, in my opinion, really good, I thought the band kind of deserved a little more attention,
Yeah.
a little more respect by putting them on a stage, you know, proper venue, proper
Yeah.
room, proper sound.
Right.
No disrespect to everything that was going on before, but I kind of want to step it up a notch, you know?
And that makes sense because Josh and I played in a bunch of bands over the years, and it does feel better when you have a proper stage to play on. I've played on floors. I've played,
Nothing wrong with that.
No, and it's fun, but
we had bands play on our floor instead of the stage.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
a lot.
and even to this day, bands, now in Oklahoma you go and sometimes they just set up on the floor. It's a little more intimate. I think it just
Yeah.
depends on the band, depends on
It
the
does.
crowd,
It depends on like how you want to sound,
Right.
If you want to sound good, you're going to be on stage. If you don't care about the sound, then you're going to be on the floor.
You just want to be up in their
It's
faces.
mainly like those hardcore bands.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
All
Take
lot
their
of that.
shoes off and get in the mosh pit while they're singing and shit.
Yes. So
I'm not knocking that at all. There's a place for all that. you know?
absolutely, man. So you said it started as just a bar. Now, was the bar area with the top, was that already in there? Or did you guys build all that?
It was in there.
So it was a bar in the past.
Yeah,
What
it had
was it
been a
before?
past.
Do you know?
Man, it had been like Two Frogs. It had been like something called Rattlebones.
Okay.
It had been like a few things.
Yeah.
We didn't really know anything about the history. The reason we picked it was because it already had like basically a built-in bar. We modified it, and it had a cooler. We didn't know the cooler didn't work, but it had a cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were like, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it has that parking lot in the back. I mean, it's set
Yep.
up. It's that space, even to this day, is set up to be the perfect size venue for what it is.
It's on the dirty side of town where
Yeah.
people don't care. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only reason we moved from that spot was because, at that location we were paying it was $1,500 in rent, and I was spending anywhere from $15 to $2,000 a month just keeping it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ACs broke all the time, the heaters were never working, plumbing was out, everything, just the maintenance. The
Yeah, an
the
old
lease
building
didn't
like
include
that.
any of that shit. It was all on me.
Right.
So we started selling out a lot, and I felt guilty that a lot of people I knew didn't make it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we started looking for a bigger room. My buddy David Box was like, hey, I've got this space. Come look at it. I did, and he honestly, I don't usually talk numbers, but he gave me the first 4 months for free. And then after that, it was, for the first 12 months, it was $1,400 a month. It didn't change from what I was paying already, but I didn't have the maintenance.
Right.
Like everything worked.
Yeah.
The AC
Well, it's a little
never broke.
a little more centralized as well.
man.
I'm sure it had its ups and downs being in that
A lot
location.
of people wrote us off because we left the dirty side and went to there.
Yeah,
but
you sold out.
I
Yeah.
remember a lot of
Fuck
that
that.
went down of like, man, Reggie sold out. I'm like, he's bringing in bigger bands,
Yeah.
though. It's
That
a
was,
better.
yeah.
You can actually take a shit in the bathroom and
Man.
not feel bad about it.
I would have never gotten the black keys at the old location.
Right.
I would have gotten, what do you call it? Fallout Boy on the massive
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
underplay,
right before they blew up.
Dude,
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance, the list
Yeah.
goes on and on of bands that,
Take
you know-
It Back Sunday put it at the old one, but yeah, it's a
yes.
good band.
And didn't White Stripes play at the old one?
White Stripes played on 9/12.
Okay.
The day after the bombing.
Oh. Whoa.
Everybody else, my whole schedule got wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was calling, canceling, everybody was packing up, going home. We didn't actually know if they were going to show up.
Right.
I booked them on damn it, I hate to even say this. It was only $1,000
Really?
guaranteed booked to White Stripes. Yeah.
Wow.
I'd been such a fan for a long time, and I was like, just honored they would stop.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they came through on 9/12, 9/11. Our band was Anal Cunt, and it turned into a freaking hate fest.
Rest in peace,
I
Seth.
called all the neighborhood, little stores and warned them right before we let out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it could get a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Try to keep the punkers out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was
Totally.
a total hate fest.
Yeah. I saw their rider.
The White
their
Stripes?
tour rider. No, the Anal Cunt
It's
rider.
funny. It's funny.
I mean, it's pure comedy. It's. I'll show it to you. I think I have a picture of it. Like
Nothing on it serious. But
Yeah, but it's like turn the fucking guitars all the way up, and then turn them up some fucking more. Like it's insane. Like
It's-
you
they're
always
a
hear
good
those
time.
stories about like brown M&Ms and all that dumb shit. But it's like this was the funniest thing I've ever read as
Yeah.
far as a writer goes.
Hank the III was my worst.
Really?
Oh, my worst by far.
Can you say why?
Well, one show, 75 or 95 meals. There's a lot of food, plus catering before that didn't count on the food.
Okay.
Had like, how many was it? Pedialyte, like 12 cases of Pedialyte, like all kinds of stuff you would normally just think that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't. You
Wow.
know what I mean?
You
So
wanted it all.
He wanted all of it, like
Wow.
including the specific colored, like you were talking. The list was just retarded.
Yeah.
But I met it. I met it on the night of the performance and was like, dude, I got all this shit. He showed up, and there was a bit of an argument all the way before they showed up about the monitors.
Mm-hmm.
you know the size of the stage, right? And how many people are in like his country band?
Yeah.
He wanted a stereo monitor mix for every one of them. And I was like, that's freaking retarded.
It's impossible.
Not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Right. Just the cost of the renting the monitor board alone,
Yeah.
like added such a huge expense to an already expensive show. But I was like,
Well, stage logistics too of like mapping that. Like
it would not have been comfortable.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Hank the Third himself said to me, how is my fiddle player supposed to play his fiddle without a stereo mix? And I was like, you're asking the wrong guy, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we're not able to provide that for you. But in all honesty, I had it all. I even had the monitor rig. When the guy bounced out and he finally, because we were arguing all night, when I welcome bands to the club, I'm always like, "Hi, I'm Reggie. This is my room. Thank you for playing in Oklahoma. Welcome.
Yeah.
If you need anything, me or any of my staff, 100% to your availability. You know, we'll all get you taken care of if you need anything. Thank you for coming."
Yeah.
I did that with him. I couldn't even finish. I just got a middle finger as he walked on by. You know, I'm like,
Wow.
it wasn't intimidating to me because I was expecting it, you know.
Right.
But the whole entire conversations that I had with this guy, my security guard felt that I needed their presence because they were heated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy way to like approach a situation for the first time.
Dude, what's
you know?
funny is I was ready to do it. All he had to do was be nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he finally pulled the plug, he was back in my office, and I had the monitor rig up against the wall in his hard case with a tablecloth dropped over it, you know? And dude was like hitting his fist on it going, "You won't even provide me the monitor console I asked for."
It's right underneath his.
He's
fist
hitting it.
there. Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
hitting it.
Amazing.
He has no idea it's right there.
Wow.
I mean, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But he was just being a dick about all this other stuff bringing up stuff he never even asked for, you know?
Yeah.
What I found out later from the tour bus driver, he came back in about 3 months later with my friends, the Secret Machines, and came in and told me, like, dude, he gave me props. He said, "You're the only venue in the whole country that has balls." You know, he said what they were doing is Hank has a drug problem. They were feeding that, on arrival to the venue, and that manager was coming in doing the same thing he did to me at every venue because the label didn't want him to do Hank 3 anymore. They wanted him to focus on that, was it Spirit Ritual or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Super Joint Ritual?
Super Joint
Yeah.
Ritual, yeah, that super group.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were trying to make it hard for him to tour.
Okay.
And he said, "You're the only one that stood up and said,
So
fuck you."
Do you think Hank was just used to getting his way? I mean,
Hank didn't really have a clue what was going on.
really?
I was sitting at the
Fuck.
bar talking to one of his guitar players. He used to play in a band called Baby something? Had a song called Down by the River. He tours now as Joe Buck himself.
Okay.
So I was talking to Joe Buck, and we were talking about all this old stuff, and he told me straight, he was like, "Hank is not in control of this. He doesn't know what's happening.
That's kind of sad.
He said, don't take it personal."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I really want this to work out. I'm a fan of his music. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of his family. You know what I mean?
Oh, the legendary family.
I had a crowd outside of at least 300 or 400, you know? And when they walked out, next thing I know, dude's on the Cat, just dogging me with, I don't want to say the DJ's name because
Yeah.
he's still active, but they were just dogging the shit out of me, saying all this bullshit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
I didn't
horrible.
comment or respond. I'm like,
Be the bigger guy.
Yeah, and don't feed the trolls, as
you
the
got to
kids
take
say.
the higher
Exactly, don't
path
feed
in
the
every
troll.
situation. you know?
Absolutely. So it opened as just a bar, the original Green Door first. Do you remember your first show that you booked, or was it a local thing, or was it more of a national thing?
The first thing we did was we kind of wanted to welcome everybody to the club, so we did the first day was just I think we did like 12 or 15 bands. It was
Oh,
an
wow.
all-day deal.
Yeah.
I was the freaking sound guy. It was horrible.
Right.
But, we just...
But you just jumped in.
Yeah,
You
we
did
didn't
it.
charge any cover. None of the bands asked for money. It was just, hey, welcome to the new place. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Christen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great turnout. It was massive. And then I think the first touring band I booked was Halfway to Gone.
Okay.
Still one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's got to be so cool, man. We do our podcast and we have our day jobs and everything, and growing up being in bands, and now we're in a cover band and it's fun. We're older now. It's like I'm going to be 39 in a week.
Wow.
And it's like now I'm just doing it just for pleasure. Where when you're young, you're ambitious. We always joke around about buying the van. Buying that van and hitting the road. Well, now that we're older and we realize where we are in life and our responsibilities and things like that, it's cool to look back and hear you just just dove in head first, man. And I'm sure you learned a lot as you went.
I didn't do what anybody else couldn't do. I just did it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody could do what I did or what I'm doing. It's just I had stepped up and did it.
Well,
That's
what
it.
you did was like that's something that I find myself doing a lot. I'll be driving through around the city and I'll see a for rent sign or for lease sign. And I'm like, that would make a cool venue. Too bad. And you just keep going. Like, but you're like, hey, I'm just gonna call that, and then be like, okay. And because you did that, I saw Taking Back Sunday. They were just hands down like, my favorite show I've ever been to in
Those
my entire
guys are
life.
cool, man.
Because it was a crazy sold out. Like all the
That was a good bill.
anytime that a touring band came through there at that old location, it was guaranteed to sell out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always a fun time. We would go up there no matter who was playing.
Mhm.
You always had ticket prices super cheap, so it was
That's
like
the
totally
goal,
affordable to
man.
come to a show. Like
I
I think the
have
most I ever
to.
paid was like $10. Like okay,
What was cool about back then is, you know, I know things are different now. You know, we're all older and we're all hopefully a little bit wiser. But I remember being young, you know, working my Joe job, saving up some money, and it was affordable to go to. It wasn't like, I can't believe what I've paid for tickets for, like, you know, bands that have been around a long time, legacy bands. But you have 10 or 12 bucks, you have a good time, you're hanging out with all your friends, and you would, like Josh said, you'd go to shows just to go out, and you'd
'Cause you knew everyone was
find
gonna
new
be there.
music.
Man,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we were going for, man. I tried to keep my shows cheap enough, low tickets. I always had that like 250, 22-ounce Shiner thing going, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a stupid deal on beer if you drank.
Mhm.
You know, but my goal
Dollar
was to
Lost
make it
Lakes and stuff.
affordable for people to come out 2-3 times a week
yeah.
if they wanted to, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the bigger ones got a little expensive, but
Yeah.
most of the time, like $5 to $10 was my range.
Well, and like you were saying, like if it's always eclectic. It wasn't just punk rock or just this or this. It's like one night you can go see an emo band. One night you can go see like kind of an acoustic-y kind of an act. One night you can go see a punk rock band. It was, and that's what kind of maybe flavored our taste in music in the scene. Because I was
thank you.
fresh out of high school. I was just like, if it's not pop punk, I don't fucking like it.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But then I go to the shows there. I'm like, well, this band's actually kind of cool. I
It
dig
opened a lot of doors, man. And, you know, we're not
Yeah.
trying to like suck your dick here because you're
I
sitting with us, but
understand.
honestly, like it planted the seed for what a lot of the music scene is now.
Man, that was my goal, bro, was just to like open people's ears,
Yeah.
open their minds, get them interested in playing live music, start a band, do it themselves. I've always encouraged people to don't chase the freaking dollar in a record deal, man. Just have fun locally with your friends. Don't expect anything more. If that's going to work, it'll happen. But
Well, and you did
don't
that
go
twofold
for that.
because number one, you know, with the lower ticket prices, it allowed more people to come out and see bands and take a chance on bands.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you gave a lot of people, myself included, an opportunity to play something more than a party or, you know, a friend's basement or whatever, a house show or something, which
That-
is also fun.
That
But
was my favorite thing, man, was seeing these local guys up there in front of some of their favorite bands just smiling. You know what I mean?
opening up for like these big bands.
Yeah, dude,
Put
like-
them on a real stage with some real bands and being, here you go, I need your help.
you're
Please
20,
play."
Yeah.
you're 20 years old or 21 years old, and you get to open for touring bands. It's like, this is a hell of a lot better than just jamming in the garage. You know?
That's what we were going for, man. I think we ran things a little too cheap, or we might still be around. you
Maybe,
know?
yeah, and
But I don't
maybe
regret
so.
any of that. We had such a blast, you know.
Yeah.
I know we created something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you also fostered a lot of young talent too. And you guys were always the venue you can rely on. That you'll give anybody a chance. Really, you're like,
Yeah, I tried to.
you want to play a show here? Play a show. If you suck, well, you suck.
Man, speaking of that, I had a really funny back at the old days. This band kept wanting to play. They had a national agent, and they kept hitting me up. I was trying to be polite, you know, saying I'm not available, I can't do it. But he just kept pestering to the point where he said, "Do you not book alternative bands?" You know, I said, "Man, I'm sorry, but I do not call your band a good alternative." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They ended up being like they took off. It was like they're local. I think they had some song about getting stoned with a
Hinder?
girl. Yeah, it was Hinder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was Hinder.
Yeah.
They kept bugging and bugging. I was like, man, that's not what I want in my room, man.
Yeah.
Can you understand that? You know?
Well, you
Yeah.
made the right choice, man.
On the converse, I'd get these bands like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Yeah.
The guy calls me up looking for like $3,000. I'm like, dude, I have the date. I don't know shit about your band. I'll give you a door deal for $7.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he would take it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And everybody's like, how'd you get this band? I was like, I don't know. They asked to play.
Yeah.
That turned out being amazing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Shit just fell in my lap because I was willing to do it, you know?
That's amazing.
Leave
dude.
yourself open things will happen.
So where did when you decided to name it the Green Door, where did that come from? I always wondered, like, what does that mean? Because I've heard of the Blue Door and stuff like that, but what's the origins of that?
It goes back to an old song that the Flame Trick subs play every time they come in. You know, I think it was Jim somebody did the original about, and the Cramps covered it, which is really my first exposure to it. You know, a song called The Green Door.
Okay.
You know, that the whole theme about, I don't know what they're doing, but they laugh a lot, you know. I wish they'd let me in so I could find out what's behind the green door, you know. Awesome. It made it seem like being able to come in was like a bonus.
Yeah.
Because you're part of a club. You know what I'm saying? It's like some secret kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's definitely fitting for what it was, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. Cause you know, like I said, we were from Choctaw, which there was not shit to do out there, and getting to go there and be a part of this scene just made you feel included, and it made you feel cool.
Thanks,
and
man.
Twofold again, it's like to get to see these bands you would never have seen otherwise. Because we'd go to 66 Bowl, and we'd go, you know, down to Norman and go to like the American Legion Hall and stuff like that. But there really truly was something special about that place,
Thanks,
man.
man.
And
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're getting back
Dude,
into
I'm so humbled, you know?
it. Yeah.
I haven't been able to talk to you about this in a long time, you know?
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
So what are your goals now as opposed to what they were back then?
Well, to be honest, I am looking for a new room. I just need money, you know. I failed, and I believe that I know why. So in my mind, I have the perfect, you know, room. I've got what needs to be done. I just don't have the money to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would be awesome. It's not just a venue. It's going to be a entertainment spot for Oklahoma City, 24 hours. Just a thing where if you're not doing anything, you want to hang, come in. I'm going to have the jukebox, of course. I don't want to get too deep into it because a lot of that stuff I'm going to have to find legal loopholes
Absolutely.
for.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I need a room. I'm going to build I would like to build some apartments connected to it, like maybe a dozen.
Yeah.
Because I believe hospitality is what's going to take us from a C market to an A market.
Yeah.
And I know how to make that a success, you know.
Yeah.
I just need some damn money.
Yeah.
I don't even have a job or a car right now, you know what I mean?
But hey, man, you're on the right track. You're booking bands.
It just
seems
feels-
like it's working.
It just feels weird to make these guarantees, you know, and like, I'm broke as heck, you know what I'm saying? I don't even have 4 wheels, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I know that this stuff is going to work.
Yeah.
You know, my heart's in it, you know.
It's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Man, it has literally been overwhelming. I don't like to really talk about stuff, but like just today, I got an offer for GBH. I booked a Negative Approach. I got a date for Reagan Youth and HR from Bad Brains.
Well, dude, I mean, that's solid.
It's just today.
Those are all like
Yeah.
That's just
kick-ass
today.
fans.
And it just happens like, I just look at my phone, I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ignore it as long as I can so I can like eat, you know what I'm saying? Stuff, take a shower, that kind of
Right.
stuff. But other than that, like my girlfriend's actually got really mad at me because when I first started, it was so overwhelming that she felt like I was ignoring her, you know?
Right.
I wasn't trying to, it's just like, holy crap. I need to, yes, I want to do this, like right now. Find the bands, get the date, reserve all that crap, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you can't drag your heels.
Well, yeah,
on
it's
that
also
stuff.
exciting, and you don't want to say no to anything because it's like, well, that's a good opportunity. You know, like you were saying before about you got to just kind of jump on it and just see what happens.
That's
You
it.
don't want to let something go and have it be like, fuck, that would have been a good one.
That's like that Faye show I think it's Faye, F-E-A. I didn't know anything about them. The agency reached out and offered it to me. And because I'd been working with some other shows that fell out, like I had a Valiant Thor, Hank Von Hale, Turbo AC's deal that just went to crap. But that would have been an awesome show. Same agency asked me to pick up Faye. So I just responded, of course I can help you. What day do you need? And then I researched the band, and it's super cool. Have you heard of them?
I don't think so.
It's
no.
It's a Chicano riot girl from San Antonio.
Whoa.
okay.
It's some chicks with some serious attitude and some serious legs, man.
Awesome.
It is very cool. dude.
Yeah. Check them out. F-A-E?
F-E-A.
Oh, F-E-A. Okay.
They got a video of like Godzilla eating Donald Trump, man. It's like they're super political and super riot.
It's coming
like,
back to Josh. I think.
GRRL,
I've seen
or
that.
something.
Right.
I think I've seen that video.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, dude. I put
That's
a
cool.
pretty diverse lineup on that one, too.
Cool.
You know, I got, what is it, Kind of Creepy, The Splashbacks, and Bad Mouth, like a super hardcore band from Portland.
Awesome, man.
Like, I'm talking hardcore.
yeah.
Just lead up to this riot girl stuff. It's going
That'd be
to
fun.
build up so much energy.
But like I said, it's all about finding a room. You know, you got to get.
I've got connections with the rooms, you know. My problem is I've been out of the loop for so long. Local bands is my kicker, you know. Like I got this, you know, like Black Dahlia from the Doors just hit me up on the phone. I was like, can you help me out with this? I'm doing this acoustic thing. I was like, motherfucker, have I ever said no to you?
Right.
You know?
And I'm not going to start now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I set up this acoustic thing for him at the Lost Highway, but I don't have any acoustic support. I don't know any local, like, one bandish acoustic that plays, like, punk stuff.
Right. Well, it's like the scene, it changes so often now. Like, if you're not constantly in it, like, I haven't played in a band in, like, 2 years. And just in that 2 years of time, all the bands that we played with are no longer bands. It's like, shit.
But
like,
those guys are playing another band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well,
got to learn the new names.
Yeah.
Well, the scene's kind of incestuous in a way that everyone knows, and it's kind of good. I mean, it's all kind of like a family. We all play together, and it's
Especially if you're a good drummer.
Yes.
It's like those drummers, man, they get some miles.
Shout out to Owen Greenwood.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Owen's great.
good guy.
So let's go back in time even more. So where are you from originally?
Moore, Oklahoma.
Oh, born and raised here?
Well, my dad was in the military,
Okay.
so born in Biloxi, shipped out to Greece for probably 3-4 years, and then moved back in with my grandparents in Moore.
Okay, cool.
Mainly there. I went to Kansas for a stint, but you know.
So before you were into music, and then eventually, you know, your booking and the venue. What were you into growing up? Like, what did you want to be when you growed up?
Man.
When you growed up,
That's a good way. That's a way. It's a Biloxi boy. It's
Very
growed up.
Oklahoman, yeah.
Well, first off, I'm still not grown up.
Yeah.
Neither are we. That's why it's called boys.
It's
Yeah.
hard to. When do you ever get out of that high school mentality, you know? What, I graduated like 3-4 years ago?
Right.
I'm freaking 46.
My
man.
20th reunion is this year, and I got the invite on Facebook. I was like, that wasn't 20 years. Jesus Christ, that was
Wow.
20 years ago. It's like, what? Where does the time go?
Yeah.
I wish I knew, to be totally
The only
honest.
invites I get are from PC North, and I didn't even graduate there, but I still get invited.
Well, see, it's funny. We went to the same high school, and I graduated in '99. Josh graduated in 2000.
What high school?
Choctaw High School.
Okay.
But most of my buddies that I ran around with, like Josh and Matt and Colin and everybody else, they were all a year under me. So I was like, I checked my Facebook the other day after you mentioned something about the reunion. I was like, maybe somebody will invite me to their reunion, because I didn't really have a lot of friends
Right.
in my grade. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
all a year. You meet one person, then they introduce you to their friend, and here I am, graduating 1 year before everybody.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't give a shit about anybody that graduated. Maybe a handful of people, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
I was like,
Your crew was
would I be
the-
a total loser if I came to your high school graduation? I could just, like, act like I graduated with y'all.
Man, you blend right
See,
in.
Yeah.
What's funny is you say that. I always thought we were in the same grade.
See?
Like, until you guys like, oh, you're graduating?
It's
I
a
thought we were the same.
boyish good looks.
That's true.
Bought me a year.
Goes a
you know?
long way.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Moore? Like,
Yeah.
all childhood?
Well, I moved to Wichita in 6th grade.
Okay.
And then I came back in probably 10th grade.
So what was your thing? Like, what were you
What'd you want to be when you growed up?
when you grew up?
Man, I guess the closest I always loved skateboarding. I was into skating. I'm pretty hard. So I probably wanted to be paid to skate. But as far as like, I was bad about setting goals at that age, you know. The future is now. I was living for today. So I never really picked something that I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
Other than successful, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Well, the skateboarding thing seems to be a common tie with people that we talk to. Like anyone who's a musician or involved in music in some way, it's like, well, you know, I skated for a while. I really wanted to do that, and then I realized I can't really ollie well, so I'd stop.
Yeah.
I remember when skateboarding went from like punk to rap or hip hop stuff, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's-
like at first the Beastie Boys was like, there was a division amongst the skaters. You're the Beastie Boys fan or you weren't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're down with it or not. And then when the rest of the hip hop came, it was like, well, the Beastie Boys don't count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody loves the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, because, you know, they all started out as a punk band.
Mhm.
True.
Now, when I lived in Wichita, being a skateboarder, we used to get chased by metalheads all the time and get into big monster group fights with all.
Really?
It was stupid.
That's
like
wild.
metalheads. I know, like what I consider friends. You know.
Yeah.
Long hair, leather jackets, like my people.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But because I had a skateboard on me, they were like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
So
totally.
we were like, "Fuck you too." You know.
Because when I think about that, I'm like, oh, that's the same group.
It
Well, like,
was
wasn't
right
big
there.
that big crossover.
Wasn't Metallica like skater dudes? They were like
I don't
thrash.
think so.
They weren't skater guys. I thought I saw some like
Nah.
old pictures of them. Like,
Nah. Well, they
don't
did
think
that Garage Days Revisited where they played some punk stuff.
see, I thought maybe
Yeah, they did like a
old
Misfits
thrash
cover
days they
and
were
stuff like
skaters.
They
that.
did a few good songs.
Yeah.
They wear the shirts on stage.
That's
Right.
true. A lot of people do that these days.
Yeah. So what's if somebody wants to look up what you're doing now? Do you have a new Facebook, or what's the best way to look into this if somebody wants to reach out?
The easiest way is like if you're on Facebook, if you just search for @Green Door Booking, it'll go straight to the booking page. Or if you find me, I'm Reggy Wheat. I'm private, so you got to request that shit, but I usually respond.
I keep it private too, man.
To.
You got to these days.
Man, you never know who's watching, you know.
Well, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it's like I don't leave my front door open when I'm gone. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to leave my digital front door open for the world to see.
That is a good analogy.
I don't want my boss to see how drunk I am the night before I show up at work, you know.
Dude,
right.
Exactly. It's like leave a little stuff to the imagination.
You got to have some privacy.
Mine's like,
mystery.
I don't even want stealing my pictures. Or like, looking at what is your business, where I've been, what I've done. What do you care who I like, what bands I like, what movie I like, you know?
Speaking of likes, man, like since I started booking again, like when I first started, my page was like, or my likes were like somewhere around 640. Mm-hmm. I just checked it today, and it's like almost 1,100. It like just blew up.
It's happening, man.
Like 3 or 4 weeks. It's crazy.
You get back into the swing of it, man.
It's weird, man. It's weird. I get a very good response. Everybody seems to be like happy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It seems if I put my name on a show, they come out in droves. Like that dwarf show was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was like a magical night. It was like a freaking hug fest at a dwarf show.
Yeah.
All the old school cats were out, you know. It was so crazy, you know. And when the dwarfs showed up, I was there to greet them like I always do. And they were like, holy shit, motherfucker, we saw your name on the bill. Thank you. We've been waiting, motherfucker. Glad you're back.
Yeah. Where'd you have that show at?
I did it at 89th Street.
89th Street Garden?
That's got to make you feel good, though, man. It's
It
like the
did.
kids still got it.
It did. Like, for a band to actually be excited that I'm doing a show for them was like, made me feel good to keep going and book more stuff, you know?
Yeah. So tell me, what were some of your favorite shows?
Oh, man.
Like, if you had to, name 2 or 3, whatever, as many as you want.
The White Stripes, of course, because they weren't, presumptuous. Jack White was hanging out and break dancing on the floor and partied all night with us. Got the cops called on us and stuff. He was really cool. So that was fun to catch him before he got scared about the public, you know. Mm-hmm. Obviously, TSOL, one of my favorite bands. Every time they came, I'd say probably my favorite show would have to be that Agnostic Front show at midnight, because that's the one that really put us on the map.
Cool.
You know, we had an emo show early. I don't remember what it was, and then it was just Agnostic Front for $10 at midnight. One band, you know, and on a Sunday night. And we packed it the fuck out.
That's awesome.
And because we did that, it got the attention of other agents, you know, and the Agnostic Front started talking about us. Their agent introduced me to everything I ever did after that date. They're basically the reason, you know, we launched out was from that one show.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome, yeah.
Dude, well, it's just like anything else. I think you're a testament to this. You treat somebody right, you know, even if it's on a completely professional level. Like, you don't have to be best friends with every band you book, but if you treat them with respect, guess what? They're playing with different bands constantly. The word's going to get out.
Yeah.
Then it's going to come back and do well for you.
How many other venues do you think they play where the owner of the venue meets them and welcomes them to their town, you know?
Not often.
Yeah.
It's not, and lets them know that if you need anything, I'm here. I'm here all night. You know, I'm not just a promoter. I'm the owner, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the promoter now, but still.
Right. Yeah, that's incredible, man. Like I said, just when we started, it's like I had so many fond memories, and, you know, looking back, it's like, what if there was no Green Door back then? Where would we be now?
Man.
I mean, there'd be other venues, you know, whatever, but that was just so important, man. I between Green Door, Conservatory, 89th, I've probably played in like 8 different bands there, and it all started back in the Green Door days.
That's the reason I'm doing that next benefit show at 89th Street, because it's the original Green Door Conservatory. It's a place where we all hung out with Chad. Mm-hmm. It's familiar for everybody, you know. It's kind of like a home that we're all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just felt right to do it there in his memory.
It's a homecoming of sorts.
Right.
You know?
And that's this Saturday. So this is going to air on Friday. So Saturday the 15th.
Yeah, at 89th Street.
At 89th Street Collective.
So it's the day after this drops.
Day after this drops.
Right? Yeah.
A benefit show for Chad Honeycutt and his family.
See, I never got to meet Chad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. I recognized his face instantly. I know you know him a little bit, and a lot of our friends. I mean, we ran in the same circles for a long time, but you know, I heard about what happened, and I was just like, "Fuck,
brutal."
Another one? Yeah, another one. It's like, you know, I hate to get morbid on the show, but it's like, dude, what is going on? Is that just part of getting older? Or is it part of the scene we're in? Or, you know?
I found it's a combination of both. Like, as I started booking the club, I met so many people, you know, in bands and shit. And so many more losses. Mm-hmm. It's like the more you know.
Yeah.
the more you lose,
Yeah, that's very true.
It's like heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know, the more people you know and the more you matter to people, the more they matter to you, man.
Right.
So that's a tough one, dude. I'm really sorry. You know,
No, it's okay, man. These benefits are really taking it out of me, man.
Yeah.
Emotionally draining like crazy.
I understand, man. You know, we've had a lot of friends in the last, 5 years or so, maybe 6 years, and it's just like,
Yeah, and it was like, and young kids too,
Yeah.
and some were just fluke fucking accidents. A friend of mine died in a house fire that should never have been started.
Mine too.
Like,
dude, it's horrible.
you're 28 years old. Like, what the hell?
You know, and when we were at the Green Door partying or wherever, it's like that's the last thing that ever crosses your mind back then because you feel like you're invincible.
Man, it crossed my mind every night we had a big show. Like,
Did it really?
I would turn on the news, and I'd hear like a drunk driver and be like, "Please no, please
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you know, please no."
I couldn't imagine the way that would weigh on you as a bar owner,
Yeah,
because
it-
people come. I mean, dude, I'll be honest. Like, there were a lot of times when I was younger, especially like in my early 20s, when you're still a rookie at all that,
Yep.
that you drove when you shouldn't have.
Man.
I'm not proud of that, but
We-
I'll be
we
honest
cut
and
people
admit
off
it.
because we cared.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. But not everybody does. You know.
Nobody understood that at the time. I think they do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you're young and dumb, you're like, "What's it for?" Like,
Yeah.
dude, this is for your own good. Like,
I mean, there were a lot of times, I had my drinking buddies back then, and we'd go out and go to a bar, go to a concert, and I don't remember getting home. And, again, I am not proud of that. I am not bragging. I'm embarrassed, to be
I'm
honest.
the same way, man. I'm the same way.
But
I
you
started
know-
drinking way too much at that club. Turned into an alcoholic quick.
Yeah, dude, I could imagine that would be a very easy thing when you're just surrounded and you're partying every night.
It's your place.
Yeah.
There's only soda, water. There's only so many flavors of that, but I got so many different flavors of beer. You know.
Absolutely. And they're all
I'm-
different, and they all do the trick.
Man,
you
and
know?
sometimes I get so nervous. Like we're in Bricktown and the line could be going down to Crap Town. I'm like, holy fuck! So I would obviously drink in excess to.
Just
I
kinda
had
like-
to be the happy guy every
Right.
night. You know.
so you would get nervous that people were showing up to your shows.
Yes, because I had a massive crowd.
Yeah.
So I had to be
On point.
on point,
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah,
making sure
yeah.
everybody else was happy. You know.
Well, yeah, because if you're moping around, like, you're not promoting a good time. So yeah,
That's true.
And
There
I
were a few
understand, man.
times
Like,
that I couldn't do it, man. Like, towards the end, I was just like so depressed.
yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to fake it after a certain. You can for a while, but then it becomes like because I battle with anxiety. I have pretty much my whole life, and dude, back when I was like really serious about playing music, I got drunk before we played. Maybe not like fall down drunk, but
It just
that one or two
lubes-
turns into three or four.
It
Yeah.
lubes the pipes.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, you always say it's we're just gonna do a shot to shake the nerves, and then it's like a shot, and then a beer, and then okay, let's all do one together as a band, for unity.
Yeah, you gotta do it on stage,
Yeah.
and then when you're done, you're like, get your gear off the stage, get your shit off the stage, let the next band get up. All right, now it's time to party.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning. Where the fuck is my guitar?
Dude, I had a band on stage, and the lead singer vomited while he played, like projectile. So we'd always sit like a box over there. He would hit it. But he sang so guttural. It was
Yeah.
like heavy stoner
it was
stuff,
pulling everything up.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't tell because you're listening. But
Right.
if you watched him, you'd see him just like, looked like he was spinning, but he wasn't. One time they played, and the band was like so intense. Like the drummer was literally staring off into space like he was battling demons and shit. And the band was fighting and arguing, but the music was like way crazy. The band was Weed Eater.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they were all on peyote that night.
Oh shit.
And they were having a bad time, so they handed me
Wasn't a good trip.
Dude, after the show, they handed me this big old jug of peyote tea and a whole bunch of peyote and said, please, just take this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want any more of that shit.
Yeah, the rest of the tour to go,
Jeez.
And they were like cussing each other in between songs and stuff. It was so fun.
I can imagine doing that. I can't even smoke weed and play a show. I get
would
way
have
too into
to.
my head.
I would have to just.
Way too into my head.
Yeah, that reminds me of my old band. We were playing at, I think it was at Sauced.
Which band?
The Purple Church, this like psychedelic rock band I used to be in, and we were playing at Sauced one night, and we're behind Sauced smoking a joint. We were playing with a guy named Chris Harris and his band Depth and Current.
Nice.
At the time, and he busts out a joint. He's like, "You guys want to share this?" And it's fatty, so we were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I'm sitting there smoking weed, not even thinking, just talking, having a good time. We walk back in. I was like, "Okay, you guys got to play first because we were opening," and I go up to the mic and I grab my guitar, put it on, and I look up and there's quite a few people there, and at that very moment I realized I am too high.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and you know, it wasn't anything hard. It wasn't peyote or acid or anything like that. But, and then, so to add insult to injury, and this is when I was much younger, I look up and there's fucking Wayne Coyne standing right in front of me. He came out just to take selfies, you know, and hang out and whatnot. And I was like, cool, this guy I used to worship when I was in high school, you know, they were huge. They were a big influence to a lot of us when we were younger and getting weird.
They're Psych Fest this year.
Are they really?
In Vegas, yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I was on. Well, that's scary. So I was like trying to do as good as possible, not in a like, oh, I'm gonna get a record deal way, but just like one of my heroes from when I was a kid was there.
Just don't fuck up.
Yeah,
Just like,
don't fuck up. Luckily, we were very loud and kind of dissonant on purpose, so it all worked out. But
Wayne catches a lot of shit, man, but he's generally, you know, honestly a good guy.
I think a lot of it comes from jealousy too, man. Like
And
people just like
You
he did the
can't listen
thing.
to the drama.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and he's also like, that's his persona. Like,
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I think it's because he's from here and we're from here. People don't realize how important that guy is outside of Oklahoma.
Man, I used to have bands, every time they would come in and be like, do you know where Wayne lives? And I was like, of course I do, but just don't knock on his door.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a human.
you'd be really
Yeah.
surprised where he lives, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh, it's the ghetto and a half.
not what you think. Well, now that area's coming up.
Not that block.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I've
it is.
gone that
It is
far.
a
It's like
street by
skip that.
street basis, totally. Because all, you know, we won't name the area, but down there it's like one really nice renovated houses, maybe some modern architecture, and then the next one it's just like crack houses.
The only thing he's got is that you can't tell how cool it is from the front.
That is very true.
Yeah, I'm sure
What's
he
his
did that on
name? My
purpose,
friend
yeah.
Syringe used to practice in one of their apartments back there all the time. So we get to hang out and, you know, back when they first bought the house and stuff.
Yeah.
They've always been super cool and
That's like
hospitable.
that's a really good home security system. It's like you buy like a cheap, shitty little house for like 30, 40 grand. You fix it up nice on the inside,
Inside.
but leave the outside looking like shit.
It's
He
almost
bought
like
the house
a
behind him
facade.
too.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's just making a compound.
My buddy George used to live there. He bought it for George to live in for a while. George
Salisbury.
Salisbury.
Yeah.
I know George.
He used to be in that band Syringe I used to hang out with all the time.
Yeah, George does art and stuff and video
Oh man,
stuff.
George is a good guy.
Talented fella.
Very good guy.
Did a video
He's
with that guy,
actually,
good
we
guy.
got, when we were first back at the old location, we had a friend, somebody I didn't quite know very well, that came in and recorded a bunch of video. She interviewed bands and customers and staff. She's got like maybe 12,000 hours of raw, uncut footage. And I just got George to sign up to help me put it all together and finish like a Green Door documentary thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to go through all that shit. You know, who could do it better than George? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He understands
Yeah.
what it's about. you
Well, dude,
know?
it's cool to be involved with that. It's like you
Dude.
get to throw in your ideas here and there and be a
I've
part
been
of
looking for that footage for, 14 years?
Yeah.
You know what I
Dude,
mean?
that is so funny. Dude, I'm stoked to see that because I've been talking about that for a long time. Like, somebody's got to make a documentary about
Yeah.
that.
Man,
scene.
she's got raw footage from like bands that were playing,
Yeah.
people that were there at the shows. Just they're all talking about cool stuff. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to edit it down to something you can actually view.
Well, like you said,
I can imagine.
it was in business for 5 years, but that seems like such a small amount of time.
It's like the fucking Beatles, man. It's like so
Packed it
much
all
packed
into,
into
you packed it all into 5
years.
years. I mean, you had 2 different locations. The second venue was open as a bar. You did like a thing for a while.
Nah.
Wednesday night, was there a Wednesday night where it was?
Oh yeah.
Wednesday night drown night.
We
or
tried
something.
doing bar nights when we didn't have any shows.
Yeah.
Just tried to be open, but it wasn't very successful.
Yeah, Bricktown wasn't. What? I don't know. Is Bricktown even a thing anymore? I think
don't-
it
I
had
don't
like
know.
a peak and then went
It
down.
still is because, you know, they're doing all kinds of stuff there. But, you know, what I was trying to project is we're here. We're not a part of Breakdown.
Yeah.
If you
You're
like a band,
outskirts.
if you like a band, I've never not gone to see a band because of where it was.
Right.
If I'm a fan, I'm going to go see that shit if I can. You know what I mean?
I've been to venues I hate just to go see a band that
So
I
have
like.
I.
You know, it's like fuck it, I'll deal with it. I guess.
I used to get kicked out of Will Rogers almost every time I went, but it never stopped me from going.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. They're not going to remember you next time.
I got
Just
kicked
go
out of the
back.
fucking Cramps, man. I'm like, I still have a grudge for that to this day.
What happened?
The Cramps took stage. There was like 5 or 6 of us. We just were pogoing. We weren't even like in a pit, you know. And we were immediately, you know, neck hold, choke hold, dragged out. My friend dragged me out. I knew this cat. I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? He's like, I gotta do my job. I'm like, this is the Cramps, motherfucker. You know what I
So I'm
mean?
like, who do you know who you booked? Like, I've seen that happen a lot at shows. Like, there'll be the giant like no moshing, no stage diving.
There was nothing announced about it. I think it was Do Rag played and the Cramps played. and somebody else was on the bill. It was a great bill, but nothing was going on. There wasn't any violence.
I wish that venue still did shows.
That makes one of y'all.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, again, just to recap, just look up Green Door Booking on Facebook.
At Green Door Booking.
At Green Door Booking.
Or Reggy Wheat.
Yeah. Spelled like it sounds.
Reggy.
Yeah. Well, dude, we got to wrap it up, man. But just any parting words or anything else you want to talk about before we go? We got to wrap it up here pretty soon.
No, this was fun.
Yeah, when Josh told me about him reaching out to you, I was like, dude, that is fucking awesome. So I'm really happy to be able to sit down and kind of talk about this
Man,
stuff
I'm
with
super
you.
humbled, and I had a freaking blast. The future is so bright. There's so many shows I'm not talking about. The fall is going to be insane.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep rolling and keep building and steamrolling and make this market a better place for artists to visit.
That's
Yeah,
incredible, man. I'll tell you what, once that documentary's done, you and maybe George or whoever else, come back on and we'll talk
Count
about
on
that,
it.
man.
Count on it, dude.
Fucking
That sounds like a
incredible.
blast.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see that, man.
Me neither,
Maybe
dude.
I'll be in the background.
I'm so excited.
You'll
More
be in
than
the
likely.
background
I'm
for sure. I've
definitely
always
at it.
been
We'll
a little
all be
more-
in there somewhere, man. It's going to be like, where
That's
was
awesome.
I?
It's the 7 degrees of Reggy Wheat.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Reggie, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
man. Thank you, guys, both of you.
Bye.